Well, hello friends, my name is Pastor William. In this particular segment, we're going to be able to address some questions that are asked by, a lot of people that I meet. And they want to be able to understand a few things about the Bible. And this segment is dedicated to them and also some African spiritualists who want to be able to be converted to Christianity but really don't understand the whole issue of the Bible and how it came to be. So this next 5 videos are meant to assist them so they can be able to understand the historicity and the inspiration of particular things attaining to the Bible. One of the most highly debated questions when it comes to Christianity, especially the Bible, is the extra books. And when I was growing up, there was not a lot of information when it came to the extra books, right? And now today, these informations are everywhere. For as long as you're a Christian, you will come across someone saying there are extra books, right? And so this is one of the reasons why people argue against the authenticity of the Bible, that why aren't these other books included within the Bible, right? So now these books, we call them apocryphas. I made a video once where I name them, but I'll put a picture so that you can be able to see their names. So when we talk about apocryphas, we talk about the extra books. But here is the difference. I want to just put it down there so that you understand. So the Bible is a brand, right? Bible, the Holy Bible is a brand, right? So for me, when I explain it to people, Bible is just a cover and a cover. Right? So it is a compilation of scrolls and letters from people who have encountered God. So those scrolls and letters are put into these 2 covers, which is the Bible. And now what is the branding there? The branding is the name, the Bible. So now when we speak about the Bible, we speak about the 66 books. So that means then now that there are no extra books of the Bible, because the brand is complete. It's Genesis to Revelation, so the brand is complete, right? But putting the Bible aside as a brand, and we now say that there is no extra books, right? There are apocryphas. So now when we speak about apocryphas, we speak about extra scrolls which were debated upon regarding if they should be placed into the Bible. Now, this is when the canonization arguments, by arguments I mean debates and talks, happened, when they were talking about the putting together of the Bible. So now they spoke about the apocryphas, right? And they said, should we add these books in the Bible? And they added them, and they sat down and they read the Bible, and they found out that, wait, the flowetry of thought, the blending together of information is not really coming together. And the problem is these books, right? And these books were the apocryphas, right? So now when you talk about the book of Enoch, when you study it, you realize that the book of Enoch has in a nutshell, the book of Genesis, right? And also when you look at the book of Jubilee, you realize that the book of Genesis and some other texts are there, like in the book of Numbers, right? So now they sat down and said, but since this information is already in these books, other books that we have selected, why not just use this particular book so that people can be able to find it easier to understand, right? So now remember, the main point of the Bible is to be soteriological and give the salvation meaning, right? But these apocryphas, they give extra information, and yes, the information is necessary, but then it's not for edification, for growth spiritually. So it is for historical purposes, and also maybe if you want to know about what's going to be able to happen in the future. But we also have revelations for that. So they had to sit down and have discussions, and then after selecting 88 books, they came back again and said, no, here is the 66 books, and that was adopted. So now it is important for you to understand that the Bible is a brand, right? And the brand is complete. The brand helps you to be able to grow in the Lord and be able to build a relationship with God and be able to learn how to pray, learn how to disciple, learn how to evangelize, learn how to preach, learn how to build a relationship with God. Everything is in there. The moral story, moral teachings of life, the psychology of life, everything is in there in the Bible. It teaches you everything that you need to know. But the apocryphas, the extra books, which are not included in the Bible, they are sort of like a history, from a historical point of view, and if you want to be able to know what's going to be able to happen in the future. And you find other Bibles, Ethiopian Bible, it includes some of the books in the Apocrypha, because it is important to be able to share that information so that people can make a decision based on what they have, so that they can be able to grow in their relationship with God. But also there are other books that were written, and I'm just going to say this in passing. There are other books that were written, like, for instance, the gospel, I'm doing air quotes, the gospel in according to Thomas. And when is it Thomas? Yeah, I think it's Thomas. And I also think that there's a book that is written by Judas, if I'm not mistaken. So these particular books, some of these books are dated really, really very late. Very late. And now we cannot put them in the Bible, because those people who wrote those books, they wrote them trying to mislead people. It's like someone saying that William wrote this book, but I didn't write this book. So it's those situations. Thomas didn't write that book. Who's this? Judas didn't write that book. Mary didn't write that book. But then they wanted to include it so that it can mislead people, and that doesn't go in accordance to the flowetry of the salvation purpose of God. Well, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, comment down below. I have released a compilation of thoughts. I want you to be able to buy, check it out. It's called Why Africans Hate Jesus Christ, African Spirituality versus Christianity. Make sure that you buy it so that you can be able to learn a thing or two regarding our history. Thank you so much.